What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. Hearing stories like this and hearing what Liam Neeson said about Disney era Star Wars, it's so true. And at the same time, it's just kind of soul crushing when you are a Star Wars fan like myself. You guys know me. I am a Star Wars fan. I will die on that hill. That is the hill I'm going to die on in terms of my fandom. The last one to go, right? It will be Star Wars. But at the end of the day, Liam Neeson's 100% right. And what he's talking about is how diluted and how unoriginal and how boring Star Wars has gotten. Forget the fact that it's bad for a minute, okay? Just forget the fact that they've come out with so many bad television series and films, okay? We're just talking about Star Wars in general, and they've just kind of not known what to do with it,? And then we start getting stories like this. Despite Disney CEO Bob Iger implying the brand is damaged, Star Wars reportedly moving full steam ahead on Taika Waititi's film. I don't get that at all, man. Like, why would you go forward with Taika Waititi after he just got through making a dud in Thor: Love and Thunder, and he admitted straight up he's not really a fan like that, okay? He didn't even know Natalie Portman was in Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's just like, come on, guys. This is the stuff that pisses me off because as a Star Wars fan, I want them to love the series and the franchise as much as I do, but they don't. They clearly don't. But Liam Neeson seems to love it. But he's saying, you know what? I love it so much, I'm staying away from it. Okay. I don't want to be a part of something like this. All right. Let's go ahead and just check out real quick what he has to say. Liam Neeson made headlines this past week when he gave a surprisingly frank comment about the current status of Star Wars. Asked if he would return past a single recent cameo he did with Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, he definitively said no and gave his reason. No, I'm not, Neeson said. There's so many spinoffs of Star Wars, it's diluting it to me, and it's taken away from the mystery and the magic in the weird way. Yeah, he's right about this part, okay? There was always a sort of mystery to Star Wars, and it was an event, okay? Star Wars was an event because it was rare that you got a Star Wars movie, okay? Remember, first we had the first three films, okay? Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, all right? 77, 80, 83, okay? Spaced out 3 years, all right? So each film, it wasn't year after year after year. No, it was one, and then you had a 3-year gap, and then you got another, and then you got another 3-year gap, right? And then after Return of the Jedi, you had to wait from 1983 all the way up to 1999 for another new Star Wars film. That's 16 years of just no cinematic content. Plenty of stuff in the EU. You had video games like Shadows of the Empire. That was cool, all right? But it was just a big gap. And then we got to 99, we got Phantom Menace, okay? And then 3 years later, we get Attack of the Clones, and then 3 years later, Revenge of the Sith, okay? And then it went on another hiatus for another 10 years, right? And that to me is kind of like, that's what made Star Wars kind of special in a way, right? Because you didn't just get them year after year. You got one film every 3 years. That was kind of nice. At the same time, as a Star Wars fan, you want more, man. You're left wanting more. And that's kind of what keeps this magic involved, right? Part of the magic is, hey, you're left wanting more. You're not getting inundated, okay? It's not diluting it, all right? And that's the problem that Disney's ran with it. Let me show you. So here you see, these are the 5 films of the Disney era, all right? Force Awakens, Rogue One, The Last Jedi, Solo, and The Rise of Skywalker, okay? And they're 1 year apart, right? 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. This one was kind of the outlier because it came out not in December, all right? But nevertheless, the other ones were all in December. Basically, 1 year, every year, we got a Star Wars film. And that was kind of like, okay, that's good. But these films have to be good too, okay? You can't just have a film coming out every year and the films ain't good, all right? And you notice like before The Last Jedi came out, like everybody was mostly okay with the other 2 films. Like people were cool with Star Wars Force Awakens for the most part, okay? People were wanting to see where it went. They were interested to see what happens when Luke steps back into the fray. And then, of course, Rogue One, pretty much everybody is in agreement that Rogue One is probably the best film of the Disney era. But then right after you got past this one, it was just all downhill. I mean, the worst one out of all of these is this last one, Rise of Skywalker. That is just absolute dog shit of a film, and that never should have been made ever, okay? And the Star Wars franchise has suffered from all of this mess, okay? All of this wasn't planned out, wasn't done correctly. So at 70, yeah, Neeson is not the target audience. No question all about it, all right? They're trying to sell this crap to kids and woke people. But the problem is that the stories aren't any good, and this thing is still dying on the vine, all right? You can try to sell woke all you want to, but you got to make some good stories at the same time, Disney, and you guys aren't doing that. He had lines about midichlorians, in the prequels. Okay, but he says here, that doesn't mean he's wrong either. I do agree that there is simultaneously both too much Star Wars content and the wrong kind of Star Wars content happening in this Disney period. I actually think you got to combine these two, of too much of the wrong kind of Star Wars content. Too much bad Star Wars, all right? You can have a ton of Star Wars content and it'll be just fine if it's good. If you keep going with good content, good storylines, okay, people can't get enough of it. Star Wars fans especially, we want you to tell us good stories. The more the merrier. Hit us with all the cartoons, hit us with all the television shows, the movies, no problem, all right? But you're making too much of the bad stuff, all right? That's the problem. It's too much bad Star Wars. And the thing about it is, we will accept there will be bad parts of a series, all right? I think everybody universally understands that you're not going to hit everything out of the park, okay? We understand that as fans. In any series, whether you're talking about Marvel, Star Wars, DC, it doesn't matter what you're talking about, all right? There are going to be, like, things that just didn't work. I think there should be probably a good to bad ratio of 7-3, right? So like for every 10 TV shows, films, cartoons, series, whatever, all right, 7 should be high quality entertainment, all right? You're listening, Lucasfilm. 7 should be at least high quality entertainment. 3 can be less than that. You can call it bad, you can call it mediocre, average, it just didn't work, whatever, okay? But 7 out of 10, that's like 70%. That's a C in high school. You guys should be able to get a C in high school when it comes to your content. I think for Star Wars, a film series, maybe 1 film a year, a television series, maybe 2 TV shows a year, cartoon, you'll be fine, all right? But if you guys just going to keep cranking out bad content, we had 3 series last year in 2022, and only one of them was any good, okay? The other 2, you can make arguments that some of episodes were better than others, and okay, that was a good episode, but for the most part, I think Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett were highly disappointing, and only Andor worked. And that's why I said before that you got to give your next big and best film to Tony Gilroy, okay? Tony Gilroy, who wrote Rogue One, all right? And most people say he was kind of the ghost director on that film after Gareth Edwards kind of just, whatever, they left him to get out of here. Come on, Tony, finish this thing up for us, right? He understands how to write stories. Andor was phenomenal. It was fantastic. Best thing I've seen in the Star Wars universe since Empire Strikes Back. All right. So go ahead and move forward with this guy. I would give him your next most important Star Wars project. I don't care what it is. Okay. I would give him the next most important thing that you got and leave him alone. Okay. Say, here, go make it. This is going to be the next big thing we got, and get out of here. We're leaving you alone. You can do whatever it is you want to, because you have proven that you know how to you understand this universe, and you understand how to make a good story out of it. But instead, they're going with this Joker. Man, it's this stuff is just frustrating, right? And it says here, in a classic case of 1 step forward, 2 steps back, despite Disney CEO Bob Iger recently implying that all the company brands need to be curated in order to improve their quality, alleged company insiders have claimed that Taika Waititi's previously announced Star Wars project is one project that is still moving forward. This confirmation that Waititi is still on track to visit a galaxy far, far away was first made public in February 16, courtesy of The Hollywood Reporter. According to one Disney insider, not only will the company spend the upcoming years seeking to capitalize on release schedules of Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and Mandalorian Season 3, but they're also actively working with both Waititi and HBO Watchmen's creator Damon Lindelof to help bring their respective projects to life. Lucasfilm may ramp up, noted the THR source, but it will have to abide by the same fiscal discipline as the rest of the company. You know what you do with Taika Waititi? Okay, here's what you do with Taika Waititi. Don't give him any money, all right? Give him a $50 million budget and make this guy actually be creative for once, okay? Say, yeah, you're going to have to be really, really creative in order to get this thing to crack, all right? We're not just going to give you a big boatload of money and let you go to town with silly special effects and goofy storytelling and all of that, okay? If this thing don't hit on a storytelling level, we ain't really spent that much money. $50 million, we can write that off with our taxes, all right? But if this guy come out here with a $200 million movie and it's just trash, they've lost a boatload of money again. I wouldn't give him no money. And going back to Liam Neeson, I know I'm all over the place, but let's just listen to what Liam Neeson actually had to say, because I think it's interesting.
But Liam, I have to know, when you reprised your role as Qui-Gon Jinn in Obi-Wan Kenobi, did you ever think that
Let me just laugh at that reaction of his. Like, don't talk about that crap. Please don't bring up Obi-Wan Kenobi. You think this guy is proud of what that thing turned out to be? I'm telling you right now, man, he is like disgusted with that crap. Just the reaction that he had when he asked him that question, man, is all you needed to see. Look at this look on his face. Liam like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Please don't bring that up to me again. But let's listen to what he had to say.
And are you interested in doing your own spinoff on Disney Plus?
No, I'm not. There's so many spin-offs of Star Wars. It's diluting it to me, and it's taken away the mystery and the magic in a weird way, you know. It was nice to do the little bit with Ewan after 25 years, 24 years, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically saying, look, nah. This thing is just way off the rails at this point. I mean, I don't even know how I would fit into it. He probably hasn't even given Star Wars another thought. Please ask me something else about her. Ask me about Rob Roy, you know, or some other part of my career, all right? I mean, I don't want to talk about Star Wars whatsoever. And again, I don't blame him. And he's right at the same time about the dilution, but it's really a dilution of just bad content, all right? If you brought him back and you gave him something meaningful to do, all right? He said, yeah, it was fun to hang out with you. And again, hadn't seen the guy in 20 plus years or whatever. That was cool, all right? But he said, man, give me something I can sink my teeth into. Give me something. That's what these actors are looking for. They're not looking for just some random project just to jump on there like they're just talent. I mean, some of these guys are because they hard up for money. Liam Neeson has made himself a career where he comes out with his little action films. He's plenty fine with money, all right? So if he's doing something like a Star Wars, he wants it to mean something, all right? And it probably did mean something when he did it back in the prequel trilogy. But it doesn't mean anything to him now, all right? Because they've diluted it, as he stated, you know, and it's lost all of its magic. It's lost all the mystery, right? You know, it's just content now, all right? That's what Star Wars is doing. It's just content.
To the TV version. I appeared in the last episode. I had 2 lines to say. 2 lines.
2 lines.
And that was cool. I loved it, man.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Liam, I love...
It's like, yeah, I did a little thing with these cats, whatever. Yeah, it's over. It's a wrap. I'm not going back to that. I mean, but at the end of the day, man, Star Wars needs to find its way. I think, again, this is your next move right here, okay? If Star Wars wants to get their thing right on track, okay, every movie has to be a home run, at least for the next 5 or 6 movies, okay? Every film has got to be a home run. You cannot afford misses, all right? Your series, I would scale those back too, all right? I know Favs and Filoni got the Ahsoka and the Mandalorian thing. Leave them alone. Let them do what they do. Let this guy do what he want to do, okay? And then everything else has to go through an extreme vetting process. And then if you give some project to a guy like a Waititi, Taika Waititi can make good films. We have seen good Taika Waititi films. We've also seen some like, what the hell was that kind of films, right? So I would give this guy a very limited budget. And I say, hey, we want to see your imagination, you know, push this thing through. All right. We want to see good creativity, good writing. Okay. You limit the budget and they can't go wild with the special effects. They actually have to entertain people through a story. All right. That's when you're going to get good Star Wars. All right. That's when you're going to get somebody that actually has to take time and write a really good script that's going to bring people to watch this particular film or whatever the case may be. Anyway, folks, what do you think about this situation? All the comments from Liam Neeson. You got Taika Waititi's film still on slate. You know, how you guys feeling about Star Wars right now? I know a lot of you guys ain't got, you guys are like, man, D, we done with Star Wars. I don't know why you keep talking about it, but you know, like I said, that's the hill that I'm going to die on. You guys go ahead, get down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and your opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.